Okay, this is the XK A430, sort of XK version of an Edge, similar to somewhat to the Beaver, only of course it's an Edge, but otherwise the control system's basically the same now. I know this thing takes a 2-cell battery, similar to a UMX battery, except that it has a Molex connector, and I know I made an adapter so I could use actual Molex batteries with it. Not Molex batteries, actually UMX batteries. But I can't find the blithering thing, so anyway. Anyway, this is his actual battery. This is the battery that came with him, so that should be okay, but you know, I've only got one of these. I've got lots of UMX batteries, and it kind of bugs me that I can't find that adapter, because I know I made it. Things where just wander off, and then you've got to remember where you put them. Oh well, we'll try them anyway. Pretty dead calm, misty around sunrise. Mist might get worse. I don't see the sun at the moment, but on the other hand the sky looks pretty clear, so I would think we're going to have sun pretty soon. Whoa. Let's try not to go behind us. The problem is, this guy's all rather fast. He's not really meant to be a slow flyer, this guy. I guess he can slow down a little bit. I've got him in stabilisation now. No, I don't. Now he's non-stabilised. But he's pretty darn, I can't tell which way up he is once he gets over there. See, that's the problem. He gets over there and I can't see which way blithering up he is. And he gets over there so fast because he's such a fast plane. What the hell? I thought he was in non-stabilized mode, but since he won't do anything, I assume he isn't. Let's try again. It's hard to know what you're doing with him, really. It really is, and he gets out of sight so quickly. He's small and fast, which means that he just gets out of sight so quickly, so you've got to think so quickly with him. That's the problem. Perfectly controllable if you can see him. His response to the controls is extremely positive. The problem is keeping him where you can blither and see him. Well, I mean, well, no, but it is in any case. I mean, obviously, this is not the ideal conditions as well, because it's a bit dark and everything. But he really is so fast. I mean, and I'm not even flying in full throttle. I don't think I've ever been up to full. Well, maybe when I took him off, but hardly been up to full throttle at all. And even so, he's just so fast. And he's so small, so he's out of sight before you think about it. It's very hard to keep him where you can see him, for me. Maybe if you've got better eyesight or better reflexes, but for me, it's a bugger to keep him where you can see him. No timer, of course, so I got to watch the time. Whoa, my hat fell off. My hat actually fell off then. Bugger. Usually I manage to catch it before it falls off. Falls off. It actually fell over my eyes then. And this guy's just insanely fast. Now I'm slowing him down. But then, of course, he's sinking when I slow him down. He's not nastily stalling. He's basically just sinking. But he sinks. I don't know. Oh, for flaming heck's sake, I can't keep this blithering hat on. It's hard to see the plane. I think we better land him now anyway. I'm not sure how much power he's got left. Whoa. He was a bit lower than I thought there. I meant to bring him a bit closer than that before I landed him, but he was... See, I misjudged the height. I hit the ground with the wheels before I expected to. Well... Oh, blimey. Ouch. I mean, you certainly can't complain. He's, you know, he's a very capable plane, and I have an interesting plane, I guess, but... lots of power. Lots of power. So you can just go incredibly fast. I struggle to fly him in non-stabilized mode. Basically, because as much as anything else, not because his controls are bad. His controls are very positive. He responds to the controls very well in unstabilized mode, and within the limits of what they do in stabilized mode. But the problem is he just goes so darn fast, and it's really hard to keep him where you can tell what his orientation is, I find, for me anyway. Anyway, basically a terrific little plane, just a real handful to fly because it's so fast and small. But, yeah, but then again, I mean, you can leave it if you wanted to. You could just leave it in stabilized mode, and it's not particularly hard to fly in stabilized mode, though even then you don't want to let it get so far away you can't see it. But it's easy enough to turn around and bring it back towards you in stabilized mode. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it. I think it's a great deal. And I think it cost me about 130 Canadian delivered, so which with the transmitter as well, and you're ready to fly. So you can't really complain. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it, but be prepared for a bit of a challenge when you try and fly it unstabilized. One improvement with this one over the Beaver, the XK A600. The XK A600 Beaver has exactly the same control scheme. It's a little bit bigger wingspan and is a bit easier to see, a bit easier to fly, although basically the same thing. It has, it's either stabilized or 3-axis or 6-axis. But an advantage of this one is that you can pack him nicely into the back into the case to bring him to the field. The Beaver you can't. The Beaver comes in a small case, box with the wings off, and once you put the wings on, really there's no convenient way you can pack the Beaver back into his original case to bring him to the field, so you just tend to bring him to his field loose, so he's a bit more prone to hanger rash and whatever. This guy packs very neatly back into his shipping case for bringing to the field, so that's definitely a step forward. It's a plus.